Welcome to the Wake.Show. As everybody knows, a show needs an intro. This is that intro. I am Fisher, your host, featuring Chris McCarty. He got into an altercation at the gym. We'll find out the deets shortly. All right, we'll pull the reverb off, and good morning. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wake.Show. My name is Chris Fisher. It is time to like and share before we get the show started today. And as you can see, the random conversation generator today is which movies can you watch over and over and over again and never tire of. And like I was saying in the intro there, I got to hold on. Let me read it verbatim. So Chris goes, "Hey man, late because of an altercation at the gym. And I text him back, can't wait to hear about it. LOL. See you when you get here. I'm going to start the show." So he's on his way, and I cannot wait to hear what happened at the. And it's funny because we have a story today that we'll be talking about that is concerning a situation at a gym. Are you refereeing a bowling tournament? Screw you, Adam. Is that what I look like? Hold on. A referee for professional bowling? Listen, Adam, this is a shirt I've never been able to fit into, you jerk. This is a shirt I've never been able to fit into. It still had the tags on it when we found it over the weekend. It was yellow. My wife OxyCleaned it, I think, OxyClean. Thank you so much, honey, by the way. I didn't think, because it was just yellow and disgusting. It was a shirt that I bought. Yeah, It was a shirt that I bought a long time ago, years ago. And it was a shirt that I thought I was going to fit into. Like I was dropping weight. I'm like, oh, I like this shirt. And Aruka, I think it is. Is that what it is? I don't know. Whatever that little symbol is. And yeah. Ruka, is that how you say it? Or is it? I'm way off on that one. Anyway, so we found it. I was going to throw it away because it looked disgusting, and she's like, "Well, let me have at it and see what I can do." And the next thing you know, Lauren was able to turn this bad boy around, and I somewhat, like, I don't have a lot of room to work with, as you can see up here. If I go like this, the buttons start to show a little bit of this. Good morning, Kimber. Chris will be here shortly. He's on his way. Let's get the so. While we're liking and sharing, inviting our friends, what movies can you watch over and over and over and over again? I have a list. I don't want to go. I'll throw out just a couple. A couple of mine. And Star Wars, I think, is going to be on a lot of people's lists. That the original trilogy, I could sit down. Like right now, there's the government goes, hey, everybody needs to go back to their house and watch TV and not work the rest of the day. You can't do anything but watch TV. Then and my wife was like, hey, do you want to do a Star Wars marathon? I would be so very excited. Star Wars is up there. Indiana Jones is one I'm tossing around. It's not one that I go back and watch, but I love it. If it ever is on, if I ever see it, I wherever it picks up. The same with Jaws. I'm in. And I'm watching the whole thing. Jaws is another one, too, that I think I can watch over and over and over again. So those are a couple of thought starters or conversation starters. There he is. We'll get the details here in a second. Hey! We got the little ones today, too. Let's see. Hey, there we go. Well, let's. You're going to be on TV? Yeah. Wait, where? When? How are you doing, Valentina? How you doing, Jahani? You guys come here and give me a hug first before we do anything. Come here and say hi. Come here. All right. Whoa. That was a fun sound in my head. What's that, buddy? What are you doing now? Actually, go ahead and just point that straight so it doesn't fall again. Just go ahead and angle that straight down. There we go. There we go.
I want to talk.
You guys come sit with me. I'm on this side. And you're on this side.
I still haven't shared the show. Hold on a second here.
It's not going to be very long. It's going to be short.
That's all right. Let's see, Chris. I got to get a camera on you now. There we go.
Hello.
There we are. All right, Chris. Welcome. Welcome to the. Oh, Kimber says hi.
Okay, hi guys. All right, now hands off the microphones.
Oh,
You guys just sit normally.
you got a lap full over there, Chris.
This is the McCarty party. Welcome.
A McCarty party.
It is real.
All right.
You guys see yourself over there? Look over there, Nina. See the camera? You guys see yourself on the TV?
Yeah, you see that right there? There you guys.
You see you? You see you?
So, all right. So, while I'm sharing the show, tell me what happened at the. What was the altercating at the gym?
Oh my God, my music on. I'm bad.
You know what?
Yeah, man. So, you know, I got stuff going on in life, as we all do.
Right.
And so I'm working out, right? I got the kids. Let me explain something about my kids. My kids are really, really sweet. You know, like their daddy.
Okay.
Right, we talk about this, right? We do. So wait.
Hey, don't do the
touch the microphone
That's
anymore.
going clackety clackety
Hey,
clack.
y'all look at me. Don't touch the microphone anymore.
Get him, Dad. Get him.
Okay. So wait. Shh. Daddy's talking, and you guys will have your turn. So
Here we go.
now I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Are you guys vinegar or are you guys honey?
Honey.
Okay. So the lesson was, we were sitting there playing, working on a puzzle. I'm gonna tie this all in together, right?
All right.
Working on a puzzle, and Johanny and Valentina both had a piece they wanted to take, and I said, you know, Valentina, let Johanny have it. Johanny goes, I thought so, and I go, go to your room, right?
Okay.
So go to the room, and so then I bring them all in there, and we sit down, and I bring a cap of vinegar, and then some honey. So I say, taste this. So they both taste the vinegar. They're like, ugh, right? And I said, vinegar is mean stuff, talking like, I thought so, rah, 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 right? Which that's not good. That makes vinegar is too much of it. I said, now I had a little, it was a fingertip. I said, now here's a cap, drink it. This was like, right? Johnny's like, ah. So too much vinegar, you can't take it. Too much is bad for you. So taste this. We did the honey, same thing. So that's why they say honey. So we speak honey because that's what daddy is. So you're gonna be like daddy's honey, right? So let's move into today.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that's amazing because I know, you know, as somebody who just got married a year and a half ago, who knows what family is ahead of me, but to watch all the friends around me in the moments try to come up with these great little ways to teach their kids or show their kids a certain, and to see you break out the vinegar and the honey.
Hey, sit still.
Now, was that something that you thought of? Was that something that happened to you when you were a child as well?
I just thought of it right then. It was pretty cool.
Nice, very nice. All right,
So then we're gonna go today. So I'm working out. Now they go to the little spot to play, to work out, right? I'll get to talk in a second. So I'm, you know, I know my kids, man. They go say hi to everybody.
Tina's face.
That's daddy face. Okay, ready? Do the daddy face. See the daddy face? Happy daddy face. Laugh. Hey. And now daddy face. They don't play. And so today I'm working out and I got him in the spot. And this dude comes up to me, right? And he's like, asked me to put my headphones off. He's like, hey, I just, you know, I thought you want to know because I'd want to know. But your son was talking to a little boy who doesn't speak English and telling him that he shouldn't be able to speak English, shouldn't talk like that in here, and he couldn't be there anymore, and blah, blah, blah. I said, what? Now, I turn immediately
to find Johanny?
To find out what's going on.
Right.
So I go in there, and I'm like, hey, who's speaking vinegar? And they both kind of look around like, what are you talking about? Right?
All right.
And I'm like, stand up. And he's talking like, are you speaking vinegar? Da, da, da. And he's literally looking at me like, I don't know what you're talking about. Now, right then the woman inside the spot says, well, the other day there was a situation, blah, 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 blah. So she's telling me what old boy is telling me today happened the other day. So this dude's insinuating that it's going on now. You can see me just getting hot right now. Talking about, all right.
Well, I'm getting a little worked up now with my kids.
So now I'm like, I say, excuse me, I'll be right back. So I go back out to the floor and I just wave to the dude, come here, right? Come on, we have this conversation in front of the ladies. Because someone's not, just like, yeah, with that, like who? In front of everybody. So I'm like, so wait, so the situation you're talking to me about, what was that? oh, well, the other day I said, yeah, but you're trying to insinuate that it happened today.
Right.
So why wouldn't you just say the whole thing? Now I have a problem with you. So now it's like, uh-oh. Now this one knows when daddy starts to get hot, she does everything she can to diffuse the situation. She's trying to walk out to get daddy's attention off that. She's like walking to me and like rubbing on me like, daddy, like chill, right? So now I'm asking this dude, and he's trying to tell me the story like, well, you know, I told him, he was talking to the kid, and I said, you know, he's asking me questions like, do you speak Spanish? Do I speak Spanish? And I said, you know, it's not, you know, like, yeah, it's okay. And I'm like, did you say anything else? The woman inside told me this dude said to my kid, it's none of your business. Right. That's what she said that this dude said to my son who's 6 years old. So I'm like, did you say anything else? No. I said, well, she just told me that you said, now you already know how I can get. So it's like, well, I may have said, look, that's twice now that you're sitting there. I'm like, you're an adult. That's a kid.
Right. Yeah.
So now it's like,
this guy was not acting like an adult.
Not at all. So he's trying to talk all this stuff. So now the people out back in the gym and people who work there are hearing me loud. So now like a little crew is walking by to see, hey, what's going on? And I'm like, yo, you're not. I said, the problem is you're an adult. We are monsters of these little kids. And I said, so my kid is asking you questions and you're going to be like, none of your business and rude? You're the one being rude. This is a little kid you're talking about. And on top of that, he's my little kid. Now let me explain some of my, and then I started getting, you know, and so the ladies were, afterwards, like he toned it back down. He said he apologized. Like, well, you know, I just didn't know if, you know, I wouldn't want anyone saying anything like whatever was racism and whatever. I was like, wait, racism? I said, dude is 6 years old. I said, he's asking questions.
Right.
So then what's up, baby?
Please have your phone.
Am I being too loud? Am I just getting too daddy on you?
Please have your phone.
Why do you want the phone?
I want to look at it.
All right. Well, Johanny, let me ask you a question. What did you learn today when we were talking? Did I tell you to be nice to the little boy always, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not going to stop anyone from coming in there, right? And we said that's not your playground. You're there to share that playground, right? Mm-hmm. And then I told you that our job is to make people happy, right?
Yeah.
And I said that God made you and me and Valentina to make people happy, right? And we're always going to be what? Honey. That's my boy, Johanny Honey.
Johnny.
Now watch this, guys. Ready?
Johanny.
Always.
Forever.
Yeah.
Pudding.
Pudding pop.
Stop. Johnny.
Yeah.
Pudding.
Nina. Is that?
Nina.
Is that my babies? Yeah, so that's what happened. So it took a little longer, and I was hot and heated, and the people there trying to talk to me, and they're like, you know, like not like separated, but then the women there are like, yo, that dude's a really good dad. You know, he really was like, no, he was in the right, and you know, it's like, yo, just don't tell a story and try to make it out like it's something here when it's not that. And on top of this, it's a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah,
like he's telling me, well, my wife dropped the kid off today and came to me and said that maybe you should drop the kids off because that little boy's in there. Like, Johanny's a bully. Like, what? Get out of here. And it was like, yo, it's like you speak Spanish. Like, yo, his mom speaks Spanish. He's like, whoa, it just maybe seemed like he didn't like the fact. I said, yo, his mom speaks Spanish. His grandma's Spanish.
And if
what are you talking about?
And if he's not a perfect adult yet, if he's needs some lessons, that's fine.
He asks Natalie all the time. Like, he's like, hey, does he speak Spanish? He's just a curious, genius little kid. Let me tell you about this little kid right here. He's 5 years old, right? So when I was going to England, Natalie keeps saying, hey, man, you got to give me the address to the mom spot, right? So when the plane takes off, I'm like, oh, I forgot to give the address. And this plane didn't have internet for whatever reason. So I'm sitting there in my head like, oh, my gosh, how did she figure it out, blah, blah, blah. When I land in England, I immediately call, what did you do? She goes, oh, I took him to the school and Johanny gave me directions on how to get to his mom's house. 5-year-old kid said, go here, here, here. Paints at this little kid right here. You think this little kid, if he's asking questions about Spanish, like he's inquisitive, wants to know. You're my little genius, boy. I'm proud of you. So that's the story why we're late.
Well, welcome to the conversation. All right, next question, Johanny, Valentina.
Johanny, here you go. Question time.
Which movie or movies can you watch over and over and over again and never get tired of?
What's your favorite movie?
Woody the Woodpecker.
The what?
You watch Woody the Woodpecker?
Woody the Woodpecker?
Wait, so what else do you like? What other movies? What other movies do you like?
Trolls.
You like Trolls?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what about Cusco?
That's
Emperor's New Groove?
What are your thoughts on any of the?
No touchy. No touchy.
No
no
what?
Touchy. No touchy. No touchy.
What are your thoughts on what? Yeah.
Monty Python? Are you guys Monty Python fans at all?
Search of the Holy Grail? Absolutely.
He's talking to Valentina.
Nina. Okay, you guys say bye to everybody?
Bye.
Look right in that camera right there. Johnny, look at that camera right there. I know you're looking at yourself on YouTube.
Bye.
And say bye.
Bye.
This is Johnny when he was 2 years old.
All right.
And so, yeah, so that's what happened. So at the end of the day, we're adults. Remember, kids are kids. If they're not your kid, be careful. And I told that guy, like, yo, you could be doing to the wrong person and you end up getting a fisticuffs.
Yeah, I just don't understand, man. It seems so easy.
Some kid, like, oh, it's none of your business. None of your business.
If you feel
Do
like
you
it,
speak Spanish?
that
What?
that needs to be a teachable moment, then go grab the father and say, hey, man, this is what I just witnessed. I don't know how you want to handle it, but I just thought I'd bring it to your attention as a dad.
Don't give it halfway story and then be like, oh, well, it was the other day. And then so the ladies were like, we should have told you the other day. I'm like, no, it's a lesson for everybody. I should have come right to you initially and been like, yo, is there a story? Instead of asking Jahani, y'all could have said something before, and that dude should have told me the whole story instead of trying to act like this. So it's not, so there are no accidents. It's how it is. I appreciate you guys for being there for the kids. Blah, 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 blah. And thank you very much for letting me know. So it's all good. But that's what's up. So you guys can say bye. Say bye. Say bye, bye, bye. Bye. All right, go.
All right, it's good to see you guys
Grab
again.
Grab your glasses, mama.
Have fun. Go play with all the video equipment downstairs.
Where are we going?
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jahani. See you,
Wait, give us
buddy.
a handshake. Let's do the handshake for everybody. Come here.
Yay.
Ready? Ready? Go ahead. Bah. Bah.
Bye,
Bah.
everybody.
Bah. Bah.
Bye.
And we go kiss. Mwah.
Bye.
All right, bye. Go.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, mama.
Ooh, well, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a few days.
Man,
I haven't seen you almost a week, I think.
I know, man. I did cool. Just dealing with life stuff. I know the story kind of dragged on a little bit.
Oh, that's all
Thank
right.
you guys for
Well,
letting me.
it's funny, Chris, because one of the stories I pulled up today was a Jim story about a guy.
What?
A guy, where do you work out? Is it Planet Fitness?
LA Fitness.
LA Fitness. Well, Planet Fitness has a their slogan or their motto or whatever is
Seat's so low. Go
don't you? Shriner was here yesterday. He's like 6'3". I think. There you go.
Yeah,
There we go.
I got it.
You're good. You're good. Let's do this.
All right, cool. Go
There
ahead.
you go. There you go. You're back. Right there. So one of the stories actually in the news today that I brought up for us to talk about is because it's kind of funny. Well, it's stupid, but it's funny because this guy, their policy is like a judge-free zone. So he went in there and started doing yoga and working out. He took off all his clothes. He got naked and just started working out. Of course.
What's wrong with you, bro? You can't do that.
Right. Well, it's not Friday, Chris, but maybe.
It's a little weird.
Maybe it's not fair to play the shame game.
Oh, we're going to do a shame game on this dude. Oh, yeah.
But this is the dude.
Look, man, I hate to judge you, but homie,
Right. You hate.
it's not a good look for you, bro. That's, you're kind of Charles Manson-esque. Just
Right.
a little without the swastika in it,
Yeah. So as soon as I see it, I see the same thing too.
Right.
What
are you, you want a different type of attention.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's okay, but it's call a spade. I mean, hey.
So anyway, this happened in New Hampshire. A man who stripped naked before working out at a New Hampshire gym told police officers that he thought he was in a judgment-free zone.
Anyways, man, I heard about there was a pickup basketball game when this dude called the cops because he got fouled too hard.
What? No way.
This is people, man. We're crazy.
God, that's assault. That wasn't a foul. That was assault.
Hey, I was thinking, man, I wanted to do a little something different today.
Let's do it.
I want to do a Q&A, no more news stuff. I want to know more about you, so I'm going to ask you a series of questions so everyone gets to know more about you.
All right.
How old were you when you first learned to ride a bike without training wheels?
I don't know the exact age, but it was young, and it would have been one of those. And if I remember correctly, a training wheel fell off, and that's when I learned how to ride a bike.
Like Forrest Gump, it just kind of fell off, and then you were just
Right? Yeah.
That's a cool story. It's a cool story.
But it was young. One of my best memories from my childhood, though, would be my first bikes.
True.
Both of them. The first one was they were both dug out of the junk, out of the garbage.
All right.
And my father cleaned them up.
That's cool.
One of them was actually a girl's bike. Come to find out later on, had the banana seat. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Had the banana seat and the whatever. And so years, but I could ghost ride that thing all the way down the street. Meaning push it and go, right?
Yeah.
And it would just go.
That's
by
really
itself.
cool. I remember that. Yeah.
All right. Now the second bike I got,
Flashback.
the second bike I got was one that was also, come to find out years later, was one that was dug out of a trash, or one of them was bought from one was from the trash. The other one was from a yard sale.
Do you remember the type?
The
type?
what?
The type of bike? Was it a Mongoose, BMX?
It was
bike.
It was bike. There was no type. It was black.
It was bike.
My dad, because he had to sand it down, sand the rust
Black
off of it,
Beauty.
and then just painted the entire thing black.
That's awesome.
Put a little number on the front of it, number 8 or 2.
There you go.
And then that was it. So
Did you ever use that number further in your life? Was that like
No.
a number that stuck with you? Okay. What sibling?
Well, what about you? How old were you when you
Oh,
learned
no.
how to-
This is
Okay,
not,
just me.
This is all about you.
Okay.
What number sibling learned how to ride the bike first? Which sibling did?
I don't know. Like there's 4 of us boys. Like who did it earliest?
Give us your age from oldest to youngest.
I'm 45. I'll be 46 in 2 weeks.
So the first one.
I'm the first one.
Okay.
And then there's one behind me, 15 months. And then the
Name?
twin, and that's Jason.
Keep going.
And then the twins, 10 years behind me, and that's Kevin and Kenneth.
Okay. And your birthday month is?
August.
And Jason's is?
November.
And the twins?
April.
So you've got Leo, Scorpio, and then you said an Aries. Okay. How old were you when you had your first kiss? And take us back there.
I think my first kiss.
Think.
Yeah, I don't.
That many, huh?
No, I was no Chris McCarty in
Well,
junior
no, I
high
was just
school.
saying, I think that's a very important,
ladies
monumental moment in your life. Your first kiss, like,
I don't.
Was it at a dance? Was it at a party after school?
I don't really remember my first kiss. I don't think. I
Peck
remember my
or-
first.
Mwah.
Yeah.
How old were you? Do you think?
I think I was in like the, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 range.
So you're a 5th, 6th, or 7th grade. Okay.
And I think it was with this girl, and we had this little fort or something, and she was in there, and my brother was in there, I was in there. I think we both kissed her.
Note to self: no forts for my kids.
And I want to say both me and my brother, but my also, but
Wait.
my.
No, I'm sorry, I went dirty. My bad.
No, yeah,
you said both me and my brother kissed the girl. Is that like
Right, but it was like 10 years old or something.
And then he.
Well, but also there's
Those
a part of my
Fisher
memory.
boys.
But there's also a part of my memory telling me no, I didn't get the kiss. Like it was only my brother that got a chance to kiss the girl. So
Okay.
I don't know who my.
Got to kiss the girl.
I don't know who my. I remember my first. When I lost my virginity. That
Wait,
was,
we're going there. We're going there.
All right.
All right. So you don't. Okay, how old were you when you had your first girlfriend?
my
Girlfriend.
first. My first girlfriend would have been. I was 14ish.
8th grade.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What was her name?
Candy.
Candy girl. Oh my word. Did you sing that song to her? Don't lie.
No,
Okay.
man. I know I didn't kiss her.
Oh.
I was so nervous.
I get
I remember it was the springtime. We were I don't know. We were boyfriend girlfriend.
Right.
I asked her on the railroad tracks. And then I asked my father to go into my savings account for me to pull out $40 so I could buy this big stuffed rabbit for Easter for her. And I gave it to her and never kissed her. Like it lasted like 3 months or something, and she finally was like, I don't remember how it fizzled out, but
All right. So who was your first kiss? Because if you remember not getting a kiss from her in 8th grade, you got to remember 9th grade, 10th grade, like your first slipping the tongue. And who was it? I'm gonna need you to remember your life.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Okay, it was, I think, because I was still riding a bike, and I rode the bike to her house.
True.
And so I'd have probably been in the 13, 14 range, but I don't remember her name. I remember where she lives in Forest Oaks neighborhood.
What does she look like?
I really don't even remember what she looks like
Just a
either.
blur.
It's a blur. Well, I just
Were you doing drugs back then?
No.
How do you not remember this? Is when everything's fine.
Because I don't know. I don't know, Chris. That this is a whole other discussion because there are so many of these. When I get together with my best friends growing up, and they'll bring up all these stories, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I got you.
Sounds like we had a good time.
Right.
Seems like something I remember, but I don't remember at all.
Did you play sports growing up?
I did.
What was your favorite sport?
Baseball.
What were you best at?
Catching.
What sport were you best at?
Baseball as a baseball catcher. Yeah.
Okay, what number were you? Do you remember your number?
A couple of different numbers. 18, 24 was another one.
I was gonna go 30. Sixes. Anyways, did you ever hit a home run?
I did.
How many have you ever hit?
I had a total of 4 home runs in my. Well, that was all. Those little league.
Whatever. You still crash one over. I never hit a home run.
It was they were great moments.
Did you ever play basketball?
Not organized. I tried to play organized basketball in junior high school, but broke my ankle right before basketball season.
Oh, how did you break your ankle?
Playing football in the street, and you're playing grab ass, and me and my best friend both go up for a ball,
and
I came down on his ankle and just rolled it. And I remember, I can still hear the pop today. I can still hear the pop. That
yeah. Ooh.
And I'm laying there, and actually the pain wasn't that horrible as I was sitting there with my foot straight up, like I'm on the road, right? My foot's up like this. So my mom comes out there, and I've never had broken anything up to this point. We're like 14 years old. Never broken anything at this point. So she's like, I was like, I don't know, Mom. It seems weird. And she like kind of pushes my foot this way, and because of the ligament damage, the foot just fell onto the floor, onto the road, and that's when the pain really set in.
Whoa, day.
So that
sounds really painful.
14. So I ended up being the statistician for the basketball team.
That's okay. Did you play soccer?
Nope.
So what sports did you? Just baseball? Was that the only sport you played?
Played football in junior high school.
Okay, what position?
I was center.
Okay, big dude.
Well, no, man. I was 160. Well, I guess 160 pounds.
But for everyone else, were you?
But man, there was
bigger dudes.
I guess I was bigger,
right?
But I'm playing. I remember one team, Meadowbrook or something like that, or junior high school. This kid had to be 6'4", 5, 6, 3. Well, he was listed over 300 pounds, and so this is the guy I'm facing all game.
He's just, I'll be here all day. Like that must have been, a way to be a man. Let's see. Favorite movie.
And that's always
give me 3 movies. How about this? Give me 2 action movies that you can think of, like an older one and one more in this time.
All right.
That so this is different. It's good for me.
So going back, something like Goonies, Harry Potter, Star Wars, those are always up there as far as my favorites. Newer ones, I love the Harry Potter series. I read all the books.
Can we interject real quick?
Sure.
Did you have an issue with the Goblet of Fire, the movie? Did you have an issue with that one?
No.
Really? I was in the theater, and the second old boy does the shooting of the green thing in the air, I had an attitude. I was mad the whole rest of the whole movie. I sat back like, oh.
Are you talking about towards the beginning of the movie?
Yes. Because remember in the book, they said that Dobby is the one that shot that thing off. So the whole time you didn't know. They didn't even have an elf in that movie. Okay. So I was like, what? And it was the first time the movie and the book were way different, and I was over it. I just stopped.
You're right, and the movies did not address, because Hermione's talking about the elves. She had this whole activist movement to free the house elves and da-da-da-da.
And they were not even in the movie.
Nope. Yeah, and that was all cut out
as well. All right. Do you like documentaries? Are you into documentaries?
Love them.
Okay, what's a documentary that you give us? 2 or 3 documentaries that you think that would be good for people to see?
The documentaries that I love to watch are the documentaries that I find on Discovery Channel or Science Channel that are in the like deep space category.
Okay.
So those things that are explaining the universe.
Right on.
So some of those, I can't even think of the names of them now. Deep Space Secrets, I think, is the last one that I recorded. But anything. Oh, also from the BBC, any of the was it? Shoot. Blue Planet, the Blue Planet series.
Yeah. Those are
I
good.
love those. So give me big name. A lot of people like the documentaries that are singling in on one person's story and telling this grand story about whatever. For whatever reason, those do not interest me at all. I want to learn about the universe and about as much of the big stuff, macro and micro stuff that I can.
So there's one that's coming out. When I was in England, I saw the ad for it. Will Smith is going to be, I think he's the narrator. Oh man, if anyone can help me look it up really quickly, Will Smith, something up on this rock or this big rock or something like that.
One Strange Rock.
One Strange Rock. That looked so good, man.
Yeah, so those are the
That's a good one to
things-
check out, guys.
Yeah, so those are the ones that I gravitate to.
Okay,
Gravitate.
Cool. Like you did. I see what you did there. How old were you when you when you gave your virginity away?
Lost it. I lost it. I trip and fell into
Where'd
some.
you go?
I was 15,
Okay.
almost 16.
Do you remember her name?
I do.
Good.
Do I need to say it out loud?
I mean, I think it's kind of cool, but I don't know. Could we ever get in trouble for it? Like,
I don't know that she ever knew that she was even my first either.
Oh.
Believe it or not, I was 15. She was 14,
All right.
and she'd already been around the block a few times.
Oh.
She took the lead.
Yeah.
She took the lead on everything, and
She was just grabbing them up. I'll take
Yeah.
yours, and I'll take yours, and I'll take.
so. But her name is Kim.
Kim. Let's see here.
And it was the exact opposite of special. In all due respect.
Tell me the story. Tell us the story.
My brother and I are in the pool. We're in the backyard, to my recollection, and two girls just kind of show up out of nowhere.
Note to self: no pool for my kids.
Above ground pool. This is Ocoee now.
The tub. Gotcha. All right.
I mean, it's
still a pool.
It's a pool, and it has a pump,
Right.
You know, and
See?
it's
It's a
just
pool.
above ground is all.
Yeah.
So next thing you know, I don't know. I guess after we're done swimming,
Was it nighttime or daytime?
It was daytime.
Okay.
Somehow we end up in my bedroom. My mom's not there. I don't know if she's working or what she's doing that day. So my father is running things. And so
Is your dad there?
yeah.
You're a beast.
Well,
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah. So both my brother and I are in my bedroom, which is the garage, the closed-in garage, and with these two girls. And so next thing you know, one of them Kim just takes off. Actually, I don't remember. I just remember.
Wait a
next thing you
minute.
know, her shirt's off.
And
Just takes off her shirt.
you're by yourself though. At this, but just
No, all four of us.
those Fisher boys.
No, it's not us, man. We weren't doing anything.
The first time you kissed it was that brother there, and now you got another situation with your brothers.
Right.
Those
These-
Fisher boys.
yeah, those Fisher
Why
boys.
Are you trying to deny it? It's like the Hardy Boys.
So,
Choose your own adventure. All right, so she has her top off.
so I don't know how this went down, but next thing you know, Jason and one girl goes into the closet and they fool around, and then next thing you know, this girl shows me some stuff, and
Yeah.
I was very nervous. I was not excited, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It was almost like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But also in your head, when you're a teenage boy, you know, it's not that moment. You've been set up for that moment. Like all the other friends are talking about all this stuff they've done with a girl, done da da da.
Right.
And so there's this pressure almost to do it.
Right.
And it's something that I've always regret. I mean, I know you can't really regret it, but if I could go back and do it over again, if I had just a little.
Let me guess, you would have had flowers and something else. Is that,
No, I wouldn't.
just
I
kidding.
wouldn't have done it. I had no
wouldn't have
interest.
done it.
No, I had no interest in her whatsoever. Just
Gotcha.
next thing you know,
I
I'm 15,
understand.
and there's a naked girl with a huge boob sitting in front of me, going, "Hey, let's do it." And I'm like, I don't know what to do, but here we go.
But you wrote out to the music, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, I.
See, that's where I know that's my boy. Right there, my boy coming through. All
right,
so that's
next.
Cool. Kim, let's see here.
Are you getting ready to read a fortune to me or something? Why are you getting all this information?
No, I just feel like I feel like a lot of times we, in the show we talk about all these other people, but no one really knows you, and so I think it's more interesting to hear about this than the naked dude at Planet Fitness.
I've told all these stories on the radio before.
But I haven't heard them, so I feel like someone else hasn't heard these too.
All right.
All right. So have you ever been in a fight?
No,
But you punched someone before, though.
I've been punched.
Okay, tell the story.
Getting off the bus. We're probably in the 13. Okay, no. I remember I was 12 because I was in the 7th grade. He was in the 9th grade, and he was also 16 in the 9th grade. My best friend and I, Corey, had just we'd listen to Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy over and over and over and over again, those old records. And so we get off the bus, and our gaggle of school children are moving down the road, and this car comes, right? And they're the older kids that are in the car. So they lean out, "Hey, move it, buddy," or something like that. "Get out of the way," yelling out at us that just got off the bus. Well, the way the guy shouted it out, it reminded me of Richard Pryor and somebody trying to heckle him for a second. And next thing you know, it was just real quick. Eddie Murphy, I'm not Eddie Murphy, but Richard Pryor shouts back, "Buddy this, hey buddy this," right? So when the guy said something, buddy, it sounded like that. So I turned to my best friend and I just go, "Buddy this," because I knew he would get the joke.
Right.
Well, I guess I said it loud enough for the guy in the car to hear, the 16-year-old in the car to hear it. So his name was Leonard. So he gets out of the car and he just walks up, and before I could do anything, and again, I'm 12, he's 16. That is might as well be 10 and 30.
Man, what a punk, dude.
And he goes, "I'll buddy that," he goes, because he thought I said bite this. He goes, "I'll bite that," and then just punches me right in the nose. Boom.
Not cool.
And then, you're shocked for a second and you go to, do
React,
something.
yeah.
And next thing you know, my eye,
Tears.
yeah.
Yeah, because he got you in the nose.
Yeah, it got me in the nose. So next thing you know, so now you're blurry vision and I don't know what's going on. So I look over to where my friends were, my childhood best friends were. And this was a pivotal moment in my development. They all just stood there.
Yep. Ain't no one doing nothing.
Didn't do shit.
Sounds like, was it the Christmas Story? Like the dude who's always beating up on him and no one's doing anything. Yeah, man.
So yeah, that was a moment, because it's frozen in time, and it was a moment of extreme loneliness.
Yeah.
And betrayal.
Yeah, I
believe it or
feel
not.
like that. Like, where you guys have my back?
Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah.
By the way, there was never any, "Hey, what the heck?" Because, or actually, I think I did ask them, like, "Hey, why?" And they were all just as shocked as me, and it was over and done with before they even knew it. And none of us grew up fighting, so it wasn't like you were just waiting for somebody to do something so you can get in.
They're like, "We just saw what he did to you."
We're 12 too.
Right.
So,
but that's one of those things where you wish that, like, because the truth is you almost wish you'd gone back and been like, "Look, dude, we have pact. If anyone ever does this, we all have to jump in at the same time.
Right.
No one can." That 16-year-old dude couldn't beat up 3 12-year-old dudes, man. Like, we all rough
but even
kids.
still,
it's shocking. It's scary. I hear you.
It depends.
You get nervous and
some kids grow up scrapping, right?
true.
Like some kids grow up fighting, and so in that moment, dude, it's second nature to get in and do what you do.
Do you know if Leonard ever got beat up in the future? I feel like dudes like that get it.
We were talking. The bullying was in the news in the early 2000s, and I decided we got a hold of a private investigator on the radio to track him down.
Stop.
Yes. So,
dude, this is great stuff. Go ahead.
So we get a private investigator, and it takes a little while. He's trying to track this guy down, but I think it was almost 2 weeks in. The guy finds everything that he needs to find. So we get him on the air.
Oh, my man.
I am not privy to any of the information.
Right.
And so we get and go, all right, so, because I wanted to confront him. I wanted to go, "Hey, man."
When you did that, was jacked up.
It was like, and granted, we're teenagers and whatever, but it's still, I wanted to confront my bully. I wanted to confront my bully. One of my bullies. So we get the PI on. He starts laying out his life. And I go, "Okay, well, where is he? Can we get him on the phone?" He goes, "He's dead. He was killed in a car accident a few years ago. Randomly, just a random car accident." And so that struck me, because that was now the third bully that in my life that was dead. The first bully, or he was one of the first bullies, but the first bully to die was, in my estimation, one of my bullies was a teacher of mine my senior year. And so I actually went back the year after I graduated to throw a little something in his face, because I don't need to bore you with all the details, but I'm crushing it in junior college when it comes to writing, and this guy was just all over my ass. So because he didn't like me. But anyway, so I go back to the school to chase this guy, to find where he is, so I can go show him all these A's that I got and basically say,
"You
F
suck
you."
as a teacher.
Right.
Yeah.
And I found that he had died. And
How did you feel?
I felt horrible. I felt like I learned a lesson about animosity, about resentment and revenge in that moment.
What was the lesson?
That you can't hold on to that stuff. I felt like a horrible person. I felt like in that moment, God, because that's back when I was still a good Christian, that God turned it,
you're a bad Christian now. What does that mean?
Well, no, I'm not.
Are you
I'm
making jokes? I didn't know. You know.
No, I
Do you
guess
really
back
think
when I
you're-
was a religious person, when I was a Christian, and I thought that all the stuff in the Bible was all true and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, you're saying a good Christian. I got you.
Right, a good Christian.
Okay.
So,
Did you feel that same way when you found out Leonard died?
yes.
You felt a sense of guilt.
Yeah, because there was a lot of, because you go back and play that moment in your head, over not all the time. It wasn't obsessed with it.
My name is Chris Fisher. You get in my head and you'll be dead. I'm sorry.
Right,
Sorry.
but between those two deaths, there was a third one, and this was one of my elementary school bullies, when there was a moment where 3 kids followed me in the bathroom to do what to me I don't know. They were going to beat me up. I have no idea what they were going to do. Next thing you know, one of them jumps on my back, this kid Derek, and I flip him over my back, and then turn and face the other 2, and I don't remember what comes out of my. Just as crazy as I could be comes out of my mouth.
Right.
They all leave.
Right.
Now, one of the first things that from that moment there's multiple things from that moment that I carry with me. One, I still don't know to this day why they targeted me. What was it about me?
Yeah.
Still don't know. 2, when that kid jumped on my back and there were 2 other kids ready to take me down, and I just, as he jumped, I just flipped. You
became Leonard.
I flipped him over. No, I landed him softly.
Yeah, but you still became Leonard to those dudes. Those dudes didn't do anything. Like, your boys didn't do anything.
But I didn't. Derek jumped on I could have easily in that moment, if it was of a certain personality, had a certain amount of.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I had every right to drive him into the ground and F his world up. But in that moment, all I could think of, all I could feel was his. Yeah.
His fear.
Yeah. And so as I got close to the ground, I gently set him down, and then turned around and squared up to the other 2 guys, acted crazy, and they left. So anyway,
that's pretty cool. I think that almost I'm just gonna set you down. I'm not gonna drop it like it's hot. I'm gonna set it down like it's warm, and then.
But I don't know why I did that, because I was terrified, and like I said, I had every right to.
It's you.
But anyway, so fast forward, he didn't make it to his 30s. Suicide.
Ooh.
So, and I did, because I never held any animus towards him at all, because. Personally, there was, nothing lingered. Like some stuff lingered with that Leonard guy because he got me. I guess because they didn't get me, nothing lingered. But that other guy got me.
I think that's a good lesson, because even today, it's like letting things go versus not speaking your truth and that kind of thing. Like that whole situation today, I would be probably repeating and having conversations and be just, in my head, had I not brought that dude back in and said everything I had to say and get the whole truth out, because you know what I mean. Like,
right,
I feel like, yeah, you got to, and I think that's something that all people need to do. We need to make sure we just say what you have to say, because you keep stuff inside of you, man, and it'll eat at you slowly but surely.
Yes, it will.
That's crazy to hear that about the people, because I had a teacher who bullied me and she died, and I felt
nothing.
There was a level of me that was like, I say good, but it was more like, I'm reading this stuff on an email, and our beloved such and such has passed away, and she was this. They put out to be this great person, and I'm sitting here like, that's BS. Whatever, like what the ever? No, that lady is not all that, and that's the thing that's funny, man, because. Like you said, we talk about the 2 books. You have one book that's this great person, one book that's that. Like, I saw that. I know both sides of that. I was the one who felt that. And some people also witnessed that. And there was no reason why you jumping on me the way she was. This is some weird karmic thing. But yeah, and I had another person that I was actually close with that recently passed away. And we were really close. And it's wild because I didn't cry. I didn't have any kind of, it wasn't it wasn't any of that. Yet it was like, word? Because the stuff this dude did to me, and to my family, and, is unacceptable to me. To know that that person played And of course, I'm not saying anything.
Do you feel weird as a human, like in the moment, because of what this guy did? When you found out he died, you're like, okay. Do you feel weird in that moment? Like, damn it, I shouldn't feel that way. I'm holding on to something. No.
I think to me, it's just like if somebody, and I'm not trying to say like bad people, whatnot. Like, all right, cool, but I know you. I knew you. I knew the things that I know you were about, and I knew this kind of stuff. So it's like, well. My thing on death is a little different. I feel like reincarnation's real, and you get what you get, man, and you deserve some certain things, and it's like one less person to do some foul stuff, to me at least. One less person to be like, well, all right, I feel bad for his mom, of course, and I felt bad for her. I know that's rough. I mean, geez, now you by yourself, but. As far as everything else, like I know, there are some things this person did to me that have affected me throughout my life. Like, me and my brother don't really talk. He has something to do with that. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then people can say whatever. Oh, you're talking bad about someone who's bad. Listen, I'm just speaking a level of truth.
So I know you have a very interesting view of the universe.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you look at this? This is a story I saw today, and so I thought I'd bring it up to see if you have a take on it. The blood moon is on its way with the god of war in tow. So this would be. So how much credence or what do you put into the astrology part of the universe? Be very afraid. A blood moon is coming, accompanied by Mars, the god of war, shining more fiercely than it has for years. The longest total lunar eclipse of the 21st century is expected to be Friday, July 27th. As it lines up with the Earth and the Sun, the rising full moon will darken and change from silver to rusty. So this is the line that I love. The phenomenon struck terror into our ancestors and still is seen as a portent of doom in some parts of the world today. So, Mr. McCarty, do you put much into astrology?
I do.
Oh, yeah?
But not on the fear base.
Okay.
I just think that we are a group of people that love to be scared and love to, induce fear and instead of a positive. I understand that it's in the Bible this can happen, and we could say all kinds of stuff, man. Like it's not like bad things just now started happening. Bad things have been going on since the dawn of time, man. Like there have been millions of people killed here and millions of people killed here, and then hundreds and then thousands. Like. You know what I mean? Like, there's been this president that started this war, and this king that started that war, and then this said these are people, man. Everyone, they're a person. Like, that's why I love people, but I don't do people. You feel what I mean? Because it's stuff like this, like, like stuff like today. Like, you're gonna yell at some little 6-year-old, what? Yeah. So I can't really take a bite out of it. Like it'll be interesting. I'm glad to be alive to see it, the phenomena. But think about, remember Y2K? Everybody was freaking out, getting water.
Well, 2012.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 2012, hold the mic. Like
this is it.
How many times, like at some point, you really gonna listen to that? Like at some point, I'm like,
listen, everything will come to an end one day. Likely, it seems anyway.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like people mess with me and sometimes question my. My openness to talk about death. That is a very real situation. So why do we shun away from it? Why do we hide away from it? Why do we talk about it like it's this bad thing? Like it's just part of life.
I think because we're scared.
We don't know.
We're scared.
It's a control thing because we don't know. And so I say about scared. Here's the thing. Would you be scared if you were trying to be great to every single person? You just knew that every step of the way you were doing your best to try to do your best.
I think that's why people say you have to believe in something. You have to believe in something bigger than yourself, bigger than all of this.
I'm just saying, I understand. For me, the life thing, like the thing that gets me about death is knowing that I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Knowing that at some point I'm gonna have to say bye to my kids. Knowing at some point I'm gonna have to say bye to Nat. Knowing at some point I have to say bye to my people, Andrew and whatnot. Like that happened with Ernest. That's what messes with me. What messes with me is not necessarily living the dreams that I came here to do and fulfilling those dreams. That's the only thing that's what I think most people were scared of. Not necessarily living it up to the fullest. and taking advantage of it. Because I feel like, to me, because I do think about that, like, that's why I don't have time to not tell this dude whatever, because in case you do that to another kid, I don't have time to not be honest. I don't have time to wonder, and like, I don't have time to wonder and doubt. I got to make a move and make an action and go, because I don't know when it's going to end. It is, and it's going to happen sooner than you think.
Well,
so if it's going to happen sooner, what do we have time to wait on? To wait on what?
But I think that's what drives so many things that are in our world, including the gathering of things. Like, say you're a billionaire, but that's not enough. You need 2 billion. You need 10 billion. You need 16 billion. Well, that's still not enough, because there are people that make more than you, have more than you, and they're not worthy of that.
But that's one category you're keeping in this, like this one spot.
You're right, but you're right. You're exactly right. I'm just carving out one little slip. But I think that what drives almost everything that we do is this fear that
not enough
of I don't know, that there isn't anything next, maybe.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's not what drives me. Like, again, I know there's something afterwards. I know. No.
And that helps out a lot.
There's not a person alive that can try to convince me other, because the places that I've been and the things I've seen have proven it. So people want to have that conversation. We can have that conversation all day, but it's people are going to be like, oh, and then that doubt and that fear is what makes them. You doubt if you want to.
There was a kid yesterday. You weren't here. An 11-year-old here in the Bay Area just graduated St. Pete College. 11-year-old.
That's awesome.
He's working on his. He's going to go to USF to work on his master's. He wants his PhD by the time he's 18. He wants to become an astrophysicist, and he believes that he can prove God's existence through science. So that's his journey at 11 years old.
Dude, that's awesome. And that's so great. You know what I mean?
That's something.
That's phenomenal. And, I feel like, he might need to watch out with talking about dates and time, because this is, by him 18, like, because he may feel like he fails if he doesn't do it at 18.
I thought about,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the downside to that thing.
Yeah, like, I mean, because I say this to you, man. There was a time when I used to feel like I failed when I used to, every year, Grammys next year. Grammy next, and then after you're like, and so I learned a valuable lesson. Like, I think everything in time, and there's a natural ebb and flow and everything. I say God's time, whatever, I think of who I am now and where I'm going and the things that I know and the things that I've seen. I'm so grateful that that stuff didn't pop at an earlier time. I am more grateful than you know. Like, I've been able to weed out people who do not need to be around me. I've been able to really distinguish who my true friends are. Man, I got like 3 friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about decades. Because it takes arguments. It takes laughter. It takes time away.
Trauma.
It takes, like...
You have to go through some stuff together, right? Whether it's deaths
Andrew, and we've been friends since we were 10 years old. That's almost 30 years. So there's a lot that can be said in that. Julius, we've been friends for 20. And by the way, Andrew's Jahani's godfather. Julius is Valentina's godfather. And then Greg and I, we started the Chris McCarty band together. So we talk about traveling and fighting and not talking to each other, and then when the band broke up, reconnecting. I mean, we didn't talk for like 100 and something days. Didn't even say a word to each other on the road. Like, that's some real. That's tension. That's a lot of. You know what I mean? And for me to be like, these are my friends. Like, they don't care about any of this. They don't care. They don't ask me for anything. We just, how you say, hey, we just, and. It's the fact that it's taken me this long to really understand what a true friend and how to build a friendship, man. Like, if I had blown up back when I thought I wanted to, oh man, I would have been taken advantage of by everybody, And so I realized there were people who were around me at one point that were just around me because they thought the idea that I would. And then there are people who think that it's not going to happen and they're gone, And then it's just, and that's, part of me changing my number and stuff like that. So, like, no, dude, I think everything has its own time. And I would have felt like a failure, but now I feel like I'm succeeding because, man, like, I just know so much more now. So when the fame thing pops, that's not going to move me at all.
Yeah, I needed to go through some stuff And hopefully I'll get back to someplace or even better. But I needed to go through some stuff.
Yeah.
So Robbie says, first of all, hey, what's up, Eric? Eric Stratman from TNL Nutrition Coaching will be back on with us tomorrow. So I'm down another couple pounds since last you and I talked.
Good.
16
good,
pounds. 16 pounds in 5 weeks. And then Robbie says, Chris taught me to live life backwards, so things I want said at my funeral will be said.
My guy. See, and that's what I mean. Like, imagine that. Imagine if that's the last bit of life, the last thing. You get to be a ghost and sit and watch people crying and what they're saying. Imagine if there's a chance that is, I'm taking that chance, because I would hate to be wrong and be like, ugh. And then so again, what he means is, if you want people to say, man, that guy was just a thoughtful, generous man, then I have a chance now to be thoughtful and generous to everyone I can, and then make it happen and make it be said. And that to me is a true success. You know, I feel like we're talking about the whole fame thing. You know, I do this fame thing because that stuff's a lie. It's an illusion. You know, it is just an illusion. People think, you know, it's like, think about being that and then not being that and then getting it again. Like, what does that say? Like, the kind of person, the perseverance from that, like all that, man. It's a good look. What are you showing? What are you doing?
I was setting up our last story of the day. It's a really cool one out of the Bay Area.
That's what I'm talking about. See, now this stuff right here, Chris, stay on this for the future. Stay on this stuff. No bad stuff. Just this is good stuff.
This is Rays. Daniel Robertson hit a pinch hit grand slam, then visited injured player in the hospital. One of the cool things about this story is that he has an aversion to hospitals. Has not been in one since his father passed. So this was Sunday night, and the columnist, this is the John Romano. Sometimes the moment is perfect, even if life is anything but. So the guy who had not hit a home run in 7 weeks was sent to the plate as a pinch hitter with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Tampa Bay losing to Miami 4-2 on Sunday. He hasn't hit a home run in 7 weeks. On the second pitch, he saw infielder Daniel Robertson hit a blast over the left field wall for the first grand slam to end victoriously for the Rays in their history.
Wow.
So I guess they probably had some hit against them,
right,
but never been on the winning end of one of those. Sometimes the words are perfect, even if they're hard to hear. So 90 minutes after winning Sunday's game, the ball player who avoids hospitals at all costs since his father's death took an elevator to the 7th floor at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. Ignoring his own fears, Robertson had come to visit a 15-year-old high school baseball player who had suffered a catastrophic neck injury on July 8th. Hours removed from the greatest day of his career, Robertson explained to Joey Johnston how he has come to realize there's so much more to life than an ex-baseball game.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I read a story. I put it. I'm gonna grab my phone. I put it on Twitter. I'm trying to actually get.
And while you're doing that, I'll share something about this kid. I'm just gonna share something about the kid. The kid in the story is I'm not saying he was a crazy kid. He's here you go. Fearless and crazy is what his mom said. I used to tell people I'm just trying to keep him alive until he's 18. She said, I'm not kidding. I used to text him, "Are you still alive?" And because that's his personality. He's a risk taker. So he and his friends jumped off the Pinellas Bayway, and his friend made it. He was second to go, and he decided to do a flip off of it, and it's 65 feet. That's like jumping off of nearly a 7-story building. And so he tried to do a backflip, landed wrong, and he ended up paralyzed. But I'm not sure how it is that Daniel Robertson found out about the story, but he went to be by his bedside. Good heartfelt. I got another heartfelt one real quick.
Plus, man, we were jumping off this rock quarry, man. I was like 20, and I'm Daredevil, and everyone's jumping off, and what do? Dive. And man, I'm just reading that. I'm like, I could have broken my neck.
Well, many times on the radio over the years, we've brought up stories like this, and inevitably somebody will call in and go, well, they shouldn't have done this. Well, that's what you get for trying this. That's what risky behavior. That's what's going to happen. And I always stop and go, that is so unfair.
It's just
you could go just like you just did, Chris, we could go back through our lives, and the chances are we even forgot some because we made it through unscathed.
Yeah, anyone who says that, they're denying something that they did. There's something that you're a human being. You're in this world. We're all in it. There's something that you've done that you're going through that you could have done. You wish you'd done differently. Like whatever. Get out of my face.
Have you ever jumped off the roof into a pool? You made it just fine, but had you slipped and you did it and broke your neck, would you want thousands of people to read about it and go, well, that's what you get for jumping off the pool or jumping off the roof? Same thing like balcony. You're trying to go from balcony to balcony as a stupid, drunk college kid. Yes, you're stupid, you're drunk, and you're a young adult. But do you go, oh, but you know, Chris, maybe that's not fair of me. Maybe we only have so much empathy, and you can't ask people to feel for everybody because then you're just tapped out. It sucks you dry. So you have to put up these defenses and go, well, listen, I'm sorry. Risky behavior. I got to stay right here. And I have to move forward and save my empathy for family.
I think look, I think there's a thing called evolution, and it's happening, you know, slower and faster, whatever. But I think we're becoming more and more empathetic. I think with all the issues that are on the table now, like the racism, the outward racism now, like more and more people are being heard. There's more understanding. There's more.
I think understanding in general, not just in race, but in like all across the board. Yeah,
with everything. And so I feel like that is part of the evolution, you know. And I think that at some point, I think there's going to be like and like if you think about like the hourglass, right? So from here to here, like 200,000 years of the hominid, right? So you've got like Cro-Magnon man, you've got like these Australopithecus, you have these names, and then all of a sudden you start getting like, you know, single individuals that are doing, you know, this name, this name, you know, Earnhardt, blah 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 blah. And so then I think then you've got like the people, the Mother Teresa's, the people who are like Gandhis, who are like really amazing, Jesus, like those people who are like so empathetic and they care for other people and they affect the world and other people, you know, like even now, like bringing them to the light. I feel like there's going to be a movement in a moment, like where we change again, you know.
So all of us,
and then
all of us become
like a neo-human, where everyone empathy, right consciousness. I think that's going to be like, you know, a new movement. Like righteousness is like cool. It's like cool to be righteous. I feel like there's going to be a moment when like people are going to be bullies and be like, dude, like it sucks to be a bully. Like don't do that. That's not even cool. Like I feel like that's on its way. I mean, again, there was a time when people weren't, or they weren't with their segregation. You know, they have the people with the picket signs, segregation. Those signs are gone. They lost. And then no same-sex marriage. They lost. Black and white and interracial, they're lost. So it's like that, because it's happening, well, it's moving slowly but steadily, but slowly but surely it's moving. So I feel like at some point we will get that. I mean, I still, you know.
So you think we are all evolving, that the majority of humans at some point will be in the Gandhi, Jesus, Mother Teresa?
Yeah, I do. I really do. And so, but I think like, if I think that, there must be other people who think that. And I think like there's mathematics, there's a trajectory I see. I see like the man who is getting on my son, he's 53 years old, right? Like, you're in a class, you've seen things, it's not even your fault that you're the way you are because of what you saw in the time you grew up. But I see my children, they're not even going to even think color at all. Like they're not. And I feel like there are so many people who have evolved into that don't do that. And so I think, you know, again, this generation it's that generation, and you're going to get more and more. I mean, you know, the parents that come together that are all like me, and, you know, just the kids that I have now and the children I will have in the future. We're just all going to be about that love. And, you know, Ernest is that way, Andrew's that way. You know, I just feel like that's what's happening. And it, like, again, slowly but surely, I really believe it'll come to be.
All right. And lastly, sir, a Tallahassee police officer helps a homeless man shave his beard so he can get a job.
Wait. Let me tell you this. Walter Carr. The story is this kid walked.
Yes. What a great story.
20 miles, man. His first day at work, so he got up at like 4:30 to be there at 6:30. And the CEO of the company found out and gave him a car.
Well, yeah, his car broke down. He had to walk 20 miles.
20 miles, yeah.
To work. So he started huffing in the middle of the night.
Yep.
And just
there. And then like, and they were like, "That's awesome," and the guy gave him a car.
Yeah.
That's the news. That's the stuff that you want to hear about. And like, see exactly. Like, think about that. That happened. You're seeing a child. Doesn't matter what color he is. a child getting up and like, this is what I have this to do, and you're seeing someone take action, and that boom, and that all it does, it's like a ripple effect, and it's gonna affect certain people. So that's what they say, like, you really do change the world, like, you know, the idea, it will. And so we're more and more of that. We just need more of that. We need to see and do more of that. So show this one too.
So right here, the Tallahassee police officer helps a homeless man shave his beard so he can get a job. The officer heard the man couldn't get a job at McDonald's unless he shaved his beard. So the officer got some clippers and helped the man clean up. How awesome is that?
See?
Officer's act of kindness went viral. He was caught on video helping a homeless man shave his beard. This is Officer Carlson. Yeah. And in a Facebook post, Greg Tish of Real Talk 93.3 in Tallahassee interviewed the man named Philip and said he got a job on Monday.
That's
the video,
so awesome.
The man said the hiring manager at McDonald's on Thomasville Road said he could not show up on Monday with a clean face, that he would if he could show up on Monday with a clean face, he would get a job. How cool is that?
Great, man.
Citizen Kelly Duvall originally sent the photo and video of Carlson helping the man shave his beard outside a Circle K gas station. In a post to the police department, Duvall said her daughter, I'm going to start crying, was at the gas station and recorded the officer shaving the man's beard. Inside, the daughter offered to buy the officer a drink, and he told her the homeless man had been looking for a job at the McDonald's next door.
I love it.
So there you go.
See, and that's what I mean, man. Like, so I just feel like this episode of the Wake Show is a favorite because, like, we talked about, you know, stories of you, stories of, you know, redemption, stories of like, man, it's not the way it's supposed to be, bullies, and then we, you know, these beautiful stories like, you know, people doing much and changing. Like, this is what I mean. Like, you would not have heard that story 30 years ago, but we hear it now. We wouldn't have heard these stories. So things are happening. There's always going to be, for a moment, there's going to be the people who do the crazy stuff. But, like, even, you know, at some point, I believe the people who are going to run the world are going to be with more empathetic, more compassion. You know, we see what it's like when the world is run by people without compassion. You know, so I believe it's going to come. So that's why I try not to freak out about, the red moon. Oh, God, leave me alone. Right. Get out of my face and leave me alone. Leave me alone. You know, so just, yeah. I don't know, man. All is well, man. How do you feel? Got a good cry in you and went back to the past? You know?
I mean, how do I felt like I sat here and talked about myself the whole time, and it was uncomfortable.
How do you feel is the question right now.
How do I feel right now?
Yeah.
I feel, I guess I feel like, all right, we have to wrap up the show. I've got 2 live from the lots to get on before.
Those are thoughts. I didn't say what are you thinking. I said, how do you feel?
I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do.
You think there's a lot. No, how do you feel? You're talking about the future right now.
Right. I feel antsy.
Okay.
So there we go.
Let me ask you a question. Did it feel good to read that story about the homeless man?
Yes.
And so you were crying. What did you feel then?
I would imagine that's compassion. I would feel empathy for the story.
Yeah. Is it a good feeling?
Yeah.
So you feel good?
Yes.
Okay.
For a second.
Wait. See, now listen. Now at some point we're gonna have human beings that don't do that. You know, like you say, you know, I don't know. I just like I say, man, we are the captains of our own ships, and I'm not trying to act like everything's always great. I have my moments. I wake up in the middle of the night and I think about having to go to court, back to court again, and all these things that are going on in my life that are just like, ugh. But it's good, just a little reminder to remind ourselves that, you know, we can, you know, whatever you think, you don't have to say it. Just say good things, put positive things in your face, and remember what's really going on. Like, we're going to die one day, man. You're going to die one day, so just live it up, man. If this was the last day, I would be like, this is a great, man. I was on a table. I had my kids on the show, and, you know, I got to help this one dude and teach him how to protect children. I protected my children. You know, I think that it's, you know, I sat here with you and had a blast and learned a little bit more about you. If this was my last day, so far it's breaking up. Like, now I'm going to call my parents when I leave and tell them I love them and pay some bills. Right. Just kidding. About the last part. But yeah, that's what I think we should start doing, man. Just to do more of that.
What you talking about for the Wake.Show?
Just in life, just stopping, and really, we don't do it enough. But if it was my last day, like,
what did I do today? I'm feeling pretty good about it.
I agree with you, Chris,
You know?
and you and I both know that that's likely the crux of so many issues, because as soon as people start thinking about that, they start thinking about death, and they can't. That's why they got to stay focused on.
They can't. They choose not to because
they stay focused on.
And I think we, as a society, do a pretty piss poor job of embracing the reality of death. If we could embrace it more and put a face on it and put less fear on it, it's no different than like we were talking about, like segregation. Like more and more it happened, and it got more and more people's faces. It was just like, all right,
maybe
like,
we will
desensitize. Like I remember growing up. I mean, I grew up in the '80s, and you know, like homosexuality was like weird for us. And so when you saw that, you go, ooh. And now I see it so much, you know, whatever. And so that's what I mean. I feel like it's a desensitizing aspect of it. So if we were to do that with death and have more open conversations about it, have more like, hey man, that's a natural common denominator for everyone. Like the clock will stop zero.
Yeah, instead of
maybe more people would stop fighting about just inane things, you know, like.
Maybe instead of making up a fake holiday so we can get hammered and sell a lot of Corona like Cinco de Mayo, maybe we embrace the Day of the Dead ceremony that comes out of South America and Mexico,
like, and we embrace our dead instead of being
Coco.
Like, oh, God, what a great movie, man! Great movie, yeah, dude.
All right, that is it for the Wake.Show today.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, thanks for the likes and the shares. You gigging tonight?
Man, I'm off tonight. I hear my voice, dude. I can't. And we had really rough sleep last night. You know, I had the babies, and it's always like that. Like Valentine wakes up, Daddy, I'm wet. Like it's like 5 in the morning. And I clean her, and then, you know, she's ready. Okay, baby, I'll be back. And you know, I get in bed. Next thing you know, like 5 minutes later, I feel this thing and it's her. And so then I'm like, I cuddle, and oh my God, she looked at me. She goes, "I love you, Daddy." And I was like, "Oh, I love you too, baby."
Now go to sleep.
And now I'm laying with her, and she just can't sleep, so she's just fidgeting. So now I can't sleep. And then I was like, "Do you want to lay down in your bed?" She's like, "Yes." And then we go back to her bed and then try to get comfy. And so now it's like 6 in the morning, so I finally fall back asleep. And then I was like, "Dad!" And it's Johanny wakes me up. I'm like, "What?" Like, you know. So it's just, you don't really get good sleep. So I'm glad I'm not gigging tonight. All that to be said, I'm glad I'm not gigging tonight. But I'm glad I have my babies with me. So it's not good.
Well, are
you gigging today?
Yep, I'm gigging St. Pete Beach tonight every Tuesday night. Boulevard Burgers trivia night starting at 7 o'clock. Free beers between every single round. First, second, and third place gift cards to give away. Once again, that is Boulevard Burgers St. Pete Beach Tuesday trivia night. Have a great day. Thank you for the likes, the shares. Be good to yourself, kind to your fellow human being, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, bye.